My heart's so true.
Are we live?
Yeah. We sure are, buddy. We sure are. Singing Pokemon. My girls liked it. It's kind of more about them than it is you, believe it or
I
not.
think it's more about that you're an asshole. Wow.
All right. Do I need to post on Twitch? Oh, I think we're good. On Twitter? That we're live? I think people know. I think people know, dude.
I think people know the damn thing.
People know, people know. Oh, I gotta get my phone out. I forgot I got my list on my phone. Do la la la.
Hey, Skeen.
Skiing the machine. What's up, bro? Skiing the machine. Can you hear us okay? I didn't even check my settings over here. Audio. Nope. You can't hear us.
No, he said yes.
Oh, really? Wait, really? You can hear us? I feel like my audio settings are different.
So, Skeen, a whole bunch of my family were going to be watching tonight, but it turns out my mom had to go into the hospital. So, yeah, they're there. So, yeah, they're not watching tonight.
Well, hopefully.
She's fine. It's just yeah. It hurts when she pees.
I'm sure. Hopefully she tuned in for that.
I hope so. Hey, Mom.
Hey, Mom. Let me find my bumpers.
Nice. Legendary status. Yeah, she's fine. She's just stubborn and awkward and, obstinate.
Classic older mother syndrome.
Absolutely. At least she's with the girls. I mean, she's with my brother. She probably wouldn't go to the hospital for, that.
So you can hear us okay, both of us? Before we get rolling here? Might actually have some people watching tonight. Let's see, I'm recording over there. That looks fine. That looks fine. That looks fine. Okay. We're good on all that.
I just put the volume up for that.
Cool. Thanks, Skeen.
We have a really interesting format tonight, Skeen. I hope you like it.
And by interesting, it's totally different than we normally do.
Absolutely.
End of the year show, bro.
The only thing, actually, even the intro and outro are different tonight.
Well, not really.
Not really.
A little bit.
A little bit.
I'm going to play the regular stuff.
Well, yeah. Duh.
And then we'll do... Yeah. The rest is fine.
Pendraco says he can't hear us.
Yeah, see, that was my concern.
I mean, I know Skeen can hear me because he was, responding to my conversation.
How's that?
Oh, he said yeah.
You can hear us now?
Oh, and Monica's on.
Yeah.
Yay, that means my sister's watching.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I switched something accidentally, so before we get going, I want to make sure everybody can hear us. Hello, hello. Before we get rolling.
Okay, I know my sister's watching because she said, "Hi, Will."
Well, I also just changed a setting too. So, but if everybody can hear us, I'm recording, so I don't really care.
Awesome. All right, everybody, good thoughts out to my mom before we get the show started.
She is good stuff out there.
Good juju.
All right.
All right, you ready to roll?
Yeah, just a sec. I'm concerned about this setting now.
Well, no, everyone says they can hear us.
Yeah, but so it doesn't matter what I have that on then, I guess.
Evidently not. Yeah, so we normally have a trailer time before our live shows, but I was thinking maybe I have some free time. I could put up. I can kind of make up a short video of like the top 25 trailers of the year, and I could do a countdown by myself if you're busy,
You
or
can do something like that.
because I know you're not big into doing that many trailers, but
Good night.
you know we still got another
Yeah.
week and a half in the.
My daughters are coming to say
In the
goodnight
year.
right before we start.
You want to come say hi in my camera?
Say hi. You see that camera right there?
Wave
Say
hi. Hi, Rowan.
Say
You
hi.
want to say hi?
Hello.
And say hi in the mic.
Mine goes up a little
Hello.
bit, but it'll be up.
All right.
Can they see us right there?
They can see you. There's a camera right there.
Yep.
So they
Good night. I love you. You say hi?
Goodbye.
Camera's over there, you dork.
Good night.
Okay, good night. Get out of here.
Good night, girls.
What?
I want to hug you again.
You want to hug me again? That's nice. Okay.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Okay, let's shut the door.
All right, let's get this thing rolling. Everybody ready?
I'm ready, I guess. I don't care anymore. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm ready. All right, so we are going to
It's up. I got you covered.
normal intro, and then we'll... Okay,
Yeah, normal intro.
no worries. You got that? Okay. Are we going to do... I feel like I'm forgetting something.
No, I just say we do the normal intro. We don't need to
Okay.
do any of the other bumpers.
No, I got to cut out the timestamp thing. Okay.
Okay.
I got it. Okay. We're good. All right, here we go.
Blast came from the Death Star. That thing's operational.
Dr. Banner. Now might be a really good time for you to get angry.
That's my secret, Captain. I'm always angry.
Hello and welcome to episode 120 of the Usual Podcast. Podcast we discuss Star Wars The Old Republic, the Star Wars franchise, and geek and pop culture. I'm your host, Marshall. And with me for 120 freaking episodes is my co-host, Will. Say what's up, buddy. How you doing?
More like 140, but
Yeah, we've done a lot more than that.
Dude,
but
seriously,
here we are.
almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years in a couple of weeks.
3 years in January, my friend.
3 years
Going strong. We have missed a few weeks here and there, but we've been as consistent as we can be. you know?
for old guys.
Look, we're getting up there, buddy.
Well, I'm getting up there. You still haven't hit 40.
Thank God.
I'm
Okay.
I'm on the north side of 42 now.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Yes, I had my birthday last week.
Yeah. Anyway. So before we get started, if you have comments or questions, you can find us at theusualpodcast.com. Email us at theusualpodcast@gmail.com. And we are on Facebook, Google+, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. I am at Darth Pops on Twitter, and Will is at I'm Will Griggs. We're on iTunes, Stitch Radio, Google Play, and all your favorite places to get podcasts. So rate us, like us, and share us, and tell your friends. And, excuse me, we have a new thing, actually, in our intro. I don't have a sly way to get into it, but...
We have merch now.
We have merch now, and we're at the teespring.com/usual podcast. We've got, what, t-shirts, stickers?
T-shirt stickers. The next couple weeks, I'm going to try to get some iPhone cases up there with our logo on that.
Nice.
And yeah, so it should be some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's too late for Christmas, but I mean, you know,
Well,
it's
actually, my brother ordered stuff, and he should have gotten it today or yesterday.
maybe it's not too late for Christmas. But here we are. It's Thursday before Christmas, and this is our last show of 2017.
It is our last show of 2017.
Thank you for getting the merch up there. That's just one way to support the show. We'll talk about more ways later. We are deviating from our normal format this week.
We are, which is actually kind of interesting because we have new viewers tonight, if you will. Some of my family is watching, but
You know what they say, buddy? Every show is someone's first show.
absolutely, that is true.
But we'll probably never do this again until next year. But
Probably.
that said, what are we gonna do tonight, man?
Yeah, well, our normal format, we talk about Star Wars: The Old Republic, we talk about the Star Wars franchise, and we talk about geek and pop culture. Tonight, we're basically just doing two different sections, and they're both countdowns. And what it is the first section is going to be our top 5 news and important stories of the year, a reverse countdown. These, since they're all important, you can't really rank one more than the other, so we're just
Sure.
going to do 5. But the format's kind of cool, and I got this inspiration from my sister Donna. Is we're going to be doing back and forth as we go, and neither one of us know what's on the other person's list.
Yeah. I had actually more fun. You're the list guy, dude.
I am a list.
I'm not a list guy, but I actually had a lot more fun putting this list together than I thought I would.
Yeah, the really fun one is going to be the second part, which is a top 10, and these are actually ranked. And it's going to be a reverse countdown of our top 10 media things. So it could be, it could be a movie, a TV show, a podcast, a book, an album, song, game, downloadable content, app, a comic. It does not matter.
I made a point of kind of putting a little everything out there, except
Me too.
except for a couple things we'll just talk about later.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool because I think the way that it's going is we kind of have different things on our things.
Yeah.
And in the things we do have similar are in different places. So,
Right. Well, what I also like about the list is it gives us a chance to talk about the things we normally talk about. SWTOR I know is on both of our lists,
Yes.
and we'll talk about it at some point. So I'll throw a couple things in there that have recently come up probably, but so that'll come up. So if you're used to our normal format, it's not the end of the world. This is just kind of a fun way to end the year. This will be our last show of 2017.
yeah, it's not the end of the world. It's just the end of the year.
It's the end of the year, and we'll be back next year with a bunch of shenanigans and all
Yeah,
that.
so it's not going to be it's obviously not going to be news heavy, but it's going to
No.
be retrospective news heavy.
and it's
so-
about it's about us, buddy.
It is about us.
120
It's
episodes.
all about us.
We're okay.
But yeah, let's just get started.
Yeah,
like I
let's.
said, the first section is going to be just important news stories. And I'll start off. My number 5.
I have my list on my phone, so
My number 5 is I picked tragedy.
okay.
There were incredibly tragic events that happened at musical concerts around the world this year. And the two that just jump out at you is the bombings of the Manchester concert with Ariana Grande.
I didn't think you were going music. Okay.
And then of course the shootout from the Mandalay Bay at the Jason
Oh,
Aldean
for sure.
concert in Vegas.
Yeah.
Just tragic.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely horrifying. And pop culture is supposed to be a release from the everyday world. I mean, it's kind of funny. It's like one of those things that are even depression proof and recession proof. My dad tells me stories about when he was growing up in the Depression of, one of the things you still did is you went down to the movie theater for a double feature and you
Yeah.
traded comic books with everybody else. They had a table out in the lobby, and you would, because you couldn't afford new comic books, so you traded them with everybody else that was there, and you saw the newsreels and all that stuff. It was one of those things where you still sold more tickets during the Depression than you did before or after.
Absolutely.
Because it was an escape, and when the real world infringes on that, it just magnifies the tragedy.
Well, and for me, this is why I like what we do every week. This is part of my release from the crazy of my week. I love podcasting. I love talking about this stuff with you, my best friend, obviously. But when this kind of stuff leaks into pop culture, it makes it. I hope that geeks and music lovers and stuff like that don't take it as a like. Well, now I won't. Maybe I don't buy that ticket to go see that thing.
I know.
I want people to be able to still go and see the thing and not let the actions of these crazy few hinder what we do.
Well, especially as us who go to 250,000 person heavy Comic-Con
Uh-huh.
every year.
I think
That's
about
a-
it every year.
That's a target-rich environment that's just waiting for it, and it's
Yeah.
like we don't want that.
Yeah,
And
but also I'm not going to stop going.
absolutely not. You can't because you just can't give in to the fear.
Exactly.
So that was my number 5. What was your number?
That was a
5?
heavy start, man. But that said, my number 5 is actually the EA Battlefront 2 stuff,
Oh, really? That was really interesting stuff this year.
which I thought was which we've talked about on the show a couple of times. But I thought it was a really interesting bottom of the. I mean, if we're not ranking them 1 to 5,
Yeah,
but
this set we're not.
But the EA stuff was interesting because there was a lot of backlash over Battlefront 2. You and I have our feelings on on Battlefront anyway.
we were lucky enough to try the beta demo when we were at Comic-Con 3 years ago.
Sure. But that said, a giant corporation like EA went back on their loot box,
They gave in to consumer.
basically pay-to-win system they had
Yes.
set up. And I mean, you can find this stuff all on the internet. I just thought it was a really interesting story in gaming to where the fans said, you know what? This is not what we want in our game.
Exactly.
And someone like EA, who usually just says, yeah, we're going to do it anyway,
Yeah, if you
really went back
Yeah,
on
if
it.
you don't understand how big EA is in gaming, I mean, they're Disney of gaming. They're
They're
Apple
huge.
of gaming. They're huge.
And so I appreciated that the people in our communities, the Star Wars community, the gaming community said, you know what? Here's all the things you need we're not happy with. And they decided to go back, and they haven't excuse me, they've launched the game, all that stuff happened, but they took that system out until it was right.
Exactly.
So
yeah, and that they did the exact right thing, and
Yeah.
I really like that.
And so, to offset the tragedy that you were talking about, actually having a positive come out of not people complaining, but people saying, you know what, this is just not what we want in our Battlefront 2. And it was right before Force Awakens, Last Jedi, excuse me, came out, and I think it was really kind of a pivotal moment in gaming. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to throw out there really quick, we definitely want to hear from you guys on these topics. So please,
Sure, yeah.
please chat in the chat room if you want. Put in your 2 cents. We'll fit you into the conversation.
or 2 credits if we're talking Star Wars. Okay,
2 credits, absolutely.
all right, buddy, what do we got?
My number 4 actually is a positive as well. It's charity. Extra Life was phenomenal this year, and I have to give a big shout out to Jesse and Mox and JT and everybody on the Wookiee Alliance Wookiee Alliance and Unholy
Alliance, Wookiee Mistake.
Thank you.
But it's
it's wonderful. All the stuff I was talking about, how my sister had a tragic history that had to deal with Children's Hospital in Seattle. So that's where my money goes every year.
Absolutely.
Is to the Children's Hospital of Seattle, and I was able to raise, I think, almost $50 this year, which
Nice.
is a lot for me because really I don't put it out there all that much. But you raised, I know, a couple hundred, right?
Yeah, no, I was close to 3, I think. And yeah, man, this comes up much later for me in the show, but Extra Life has really become kind of a special thing for me, and I'll talk more about it later. But I'm glad that we were able to raise money and actually being able to give back. And when you tell people, hey, I'm gonna game for a really long time and raise money, people are like, what are you talking about? But we raised after the Charles Boyd Rogue One viewing,
Right.
we're up to, I think, almost $4,200 as a guild.
That's just our guild.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
So it's amazing. So I'll talk more about that a little bit later. But yes, charity for sure.
Your next one.
What do I got? Number 4. I I picked out the. Sorry, both of us obviously have a little tickle thing going on. But I put in the director drama of this year.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a little more prevalent than it's ever been. We have the Batman issue with Affleck.
Right.
The
Deadpool 2.
Deadpool, the Solo film.
Right.
Where-
Episode 9.
Episode 9, and then, of course,
Solo.
and Solo, and now Ron Howard finished that out. I put that in there just because that's a big deal. It's something because of social media, because of the fluidity of just how much we know now
Right.
about what's going on with films. And people get latched onto their directors. There's certain directors that we like. And I listen to a lot of podcasts that talk about movies and stuff. Some people love Christopher Nolan. Some people hate Christopher Nolan. Some people like Ron Howard and vice versa. So when it comes down to when a franchise loses a director and it's replaced by someone else, that changes people's mindset about the film.
Well, and not just franchises. When you get Marvel losing Joss Whedon and Patty Jenkins to DC, and then it happened. And then of course, tragically what happened with Zack Snyder's daughter is why
Right.
Joss Whedon went over there. But the thing is, this has always kind of been in the background. I mean, especially during the Blacklist scandal back during the House Un-American Activities Committee, writers and directors were pulled off films mid feature, and they were substituted in too. So,
And I think now it's a little bit. It's different than it used to be. I mean, now.
well, it's a 24-hour news cycle.
Right, exactly. So I threw that in there because I felt like we talked a lot about that this year. And depending on where episode 9 goes and, the next Batman film and all that kind of stuff, we'll kind of see and Solo, obviously.
Absolutely.
We'll see how all that shakes out. I have a feeling Solo will come out okay. The other ones I'm a little worried about. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
I'm really, especially with J.J. Abrams, who has a very good history of starting great things,
Absolutely.
bad history of finishing things.
So we'll see. And I love JJ, but
Dude, but after seeing Jedi,
but after seeing Last Jedi, yeah.
Ryan Johnson's a master.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes.
absolutely. Okay, my number 3 is I'm gonna say theme park.
Okay.
It's not Star Wars Land because that was obviously the huge news of 2015. For me,
But we didn't get a lot of news from that.
we didn't get a lot of news, but the one for me was the Star Wars Immersion Hotel, and the reason
I thought that's what you were going
yeah,
for.
the
Okay.
reason
All
why I
right.
picked this is you know they're influenced by how incredibly popular Westworld is,
Mm-hmm.
and I know they're hoping they don't get massacres on their hands.
Hey, Matt's in there. What's up, dude?
So I'm really looking forward to it because this is like a thing where, I mean, Disney's always tried to immerse you in the environment. That's why they want you to. I mean, granted, because you get more money out of it, they want you to stay on property. They want you
Yeah.
to. I mean, my sister could actually talk about this because her and her fiance just went to Disney World, and it was an all-inclusive trip that they did. I mean, they had fast passes on there, everything. It was all done ahead of time.
Right, right.
So, but from the moment you get off the airplane and stuff, and it's like immersive. It's like you're in that environment,
Right.
And you see space out your window instead of palm trees.
And I was trying to find a place for this, and we didn't have a lot of news, but the hotel thing did stand out to me, and I didn't put it on here, but I 100% agree with you. That immersion for a Star Wars fan is kind of everything you could ask for, and if they do it
Absolutely.
right, they are
It
gonna
has to be done right.
not only gonna make a poop ton of money, but they're really gonna be able to offer something to Star Wars fans that that we've never been able to get in the real
Yeah, actually-
not in the movie theater.
Right, exactly. Longtime listeners will remember from about a year and a half ago when the news of Star Wars Land first hit. You and I were talking about a Star Wars hotel that they could do where, like,
Right.
you would have a level that was Hoth, you would have a level that was.
Dude, we talked about that the very first year, right?
Yeah, and I'm like, that would be brilliant. And this is an even better
Yeah.
idea.
Well, I mean,
Well.
look, we're not Imagineers or
Right, no, but they listen, obviously.
Yeah, clearly. I see the numbers. They're listening. Yeah. All right, man. So what are we at?
Yeah, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is I think it's probably your number 1. But the scandals in Hollywood. Just
Yeah, well, I mean, not just Hollywood. This is a pervasive issue all
Yeah.
throughout society.
I mean, we're talking about government. We're talking about Hollywood. We're talking about CEOs. We're talking about, I mean, just the what I it's a bad choice of words, but I like about it. What I'm glad about that this story hit is the fact that now there's an awareness around it to where people are going to start speaking up. And hopefully we can squash all of this. And basically what I'm talking about is the number of celebrities and directors, the Weinsteins and everything, everybody in power, men in power, basically using that power to get their way. And it's just not okay.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, absolutely. It's. I mean, I'll talk about this a little bit more because it is further down on my list, but it's about agency for not only for women, but for just any I don't want to say subset, but any group of people that have been, their voice has been marginalized.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, I don't want to spend, and we never spend that much time talking about it in the show.
We don't.
I just want to acknowledge that was on my list of major things. And again, as we hear about this stuff, especially in the government, man, it's getting worse there. We don't talk about politics that much, but
We
the
don't,
Alabama race and all that stuff. So anyway,
Exactly.
Here we are.
My number 2, which I believe is also your number 2, so
Yeah.
I might as well just throw it out there. It's the biggest merger that's happened this year, and that's
my God.
Disney buying Fox.
yeah, that was, we it's funny because we were talking about it and then it was like, oh, it's not going to happen. And then it went away.
Yeah, and then 2 weeks later, bam.
Oh, it's happening. So
Yes.
that is going to be huge. I don't know. Would you call it a monopoly?
No.
I mean, it's not a monopoly, but
no, it's not, because obviously, they don't
you know
own
what I'm getting at.
DreamWorks. They don't, yeah, no, it is definitely becoming corporate oligarchies. Is definitely
Oh.
where we're going.
I like that choice of words. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, it is definitely becoming an oligarchy is a good way to put it. They are going to be in control of some of the biggest universes, franchises, whatever you want to say it. X-Men, Marvel. Now, Fox, they're going to have all the rights to the Star Wars and everything else.
But you know what I like about what Disney's doing, and this is,
We are Disney fanboys. Keep
we
that
are
in
Disney.
mind.
I used to work for Disney, so take this all with a grain of salt. But
It's nice to have Actus in there. It'll be colorful now.
yeah, I saw that.
What's up, buddy?
Deadpool character breakfast. I like that idea scheme.
Oh my God! If
But what-
Deadpool showed up at him and Mickey show up,
Okay, actually, there's a new comic that came out this
Oh,
week,
that'd
and
be
it's,
great.
and it's Old Man Logan with Deadpool.
yeah,
And the cover this week is all you see is Deadpool's head with the adamantium claws going through his skull and it pushing the mask out the other side. It's really kind of cool.
Nice.
But getting back to the whole Disney thing, what I like that Disney does is they're really not going out and saying, I want to buy this new stuff.
Right.
What they're doing is they're consolidating things that have already been under their power.
Mm-hmm. The
The first major purchase they did was what, like 5, 6, 7 years ago when they bought up Pixar from
Right.
Jobs for $2.1 billion.
And that was
whatever.
when Eisner came in, right? He bought up
Iger.
Iger. I
Yeah,
know
when
I said
Iger
Eisner.
came in and he took
Yeah.
over Pixar, but Disney had already had the distribution rights. Now they just had creative control.
Right.
Then they bought Marvel.
And that made sense.
Yeah, and then they bought Star Wars. Well, they already had distribution rights or not licensing rights for the rides with Indiana Jones and Star Wars
And Star Tours,
So it
yeah.
just made sense.
Yep.
And now they already have Marvel, so it just makes sense for them to go after the Fox Studios to get Fantastic Four and the X-Men and Deadpool underneath their banner.
And to be really, I mean, my only concern of the whole thing, I think, and the chat room is echoing it, is the Deadpool thing.
Yes.
That's a little weird. Also, Logan comes into that too, right?
Logan does come in. Well, there's a few different things they do because just because they bought the Fox name
Right.
doesn't mean they don't have to get rid of it. They can
Right.
still keep it. I don't think they will. I think the smart move for them to do would be to create a new branded
A new
film
brand,
studio,
yeah.
but call it Max, which is the adult Marvel line in comics. That's where you get the Punisher
rated R
War
stuff.
Journal, the really heavy stuff.
But they've always done that. They've had Miramax. They've had all these. They have
So
these
Disney
other
has
banners.
a history of having the brand names for R-rated films. So I think they can definitely do it.
Yeah.
I just think that they should definitely keep it, like, have Marvel come into the universe. I mean, have Deadpool and X-Men come into the universe, but have the Deadpool and Logan standalone movies, if you want to do those,
Yeah.
under their own thing.
Well, and I 100% believe that they've already figured all this out.
Oh, absolutely. And
They just haven't told us yet.
And this is the whole reason why, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago, that the whole reason why Feige hasn't announced Phase 4.
Phase 4 is because of this.
And the big thing is, and Skeen hits the nail directly on the head here, is they are
Skeen.
all
Classic.
building it up for the streaming service, which comes out
Yeah.
in 2020. So
And that streaming service is going to be off the hook.
it's going to be legit.
All right, man.
All right.
So we had matching number 2. Isn't that adorable?
We did have matching number 2.
That's nice.
Yes, and Octavius really does make a great point here. The only thing that from Star Wars that Disney did not get in the buyout of Lucasfilm was the distribution rights to A New Hope.
Oh, that's a good
because
point.
Those were still owned by 20th Century Fox.
Right.
Now that comes in under the banner. So that is a very good...
I did see a couple things saying that they probably won't reissue the original Star Wars trilogy
No,
the way
because
that
they
before he started
they don't
tampering
consider
with it.
canon
But
again.
yeah,
They
And
consider, I believe they consider the 1997 versions canon. Or
yeah, the HD ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's fine.
All right, and I'm okay with that because you see a much more beautiful
I
back.
don't even think it was HD then. What was it?
No,
Digitally
it was,
enhanced or whatever.
THX and
Yeah, that's right.
THX and Dolby Digital.
Dolby. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
DTS. That's what it was.
Yeah.
All right, my number 1 is the sexual abuse scandal, and we've already touched on it. We don't need to harp on it. It's just basically keep your hands to yourself, and nobody wants to see your junk.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, and as I was saying earlier, it's the power thing. It's been going on
It is.
too long.
It's all about power
And the idea
and entitlement.
It's funny because the wife and I, and this doesn't make my list for later, sadly, but Riverdale, we've been watching that, and they play with this a lot in that show, where people with power and money are trying to manipulate those, whether it be sexually or whatever.
However, that's society.
It is society, but now that after the fall of some of these, Spacey and Weinstein and these guys, I think that's telling society that, or these higher ups or these people with power, it's like, stop. Someone's going to tell you, and you're going to lose your damn job.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, what I also I hate to say that I love, but what I'm
Yeah, it's a weird choice of words,
what
right?
I'm very positive about is that they're not just calling out the people that have names. I mean, they're not just calling out the Spaceys and the Weinsteins. I mean, if you're not a fanboy or a big time watcher of Berlantiverse, does anybody know who Andrew Kreisberg is? No.
Right, exactly.
But he's a showrunner for Supergirl, and we've been big fans because we've been fans of Berlanti.
And we know his name,
Right.
but
But
what is it going to do to those franchises? That's
right,
what concerns
they're calling
me.
him out. They're calling out the people that are working behind the scenes, and it's like, you have to call out everybody in the system. So that was my number 1.
Exactly.
Because it was so pervasive.
Sorry, I've got my stuff on my phone because I'm hiding it from Will. My number 1, and You're gonna think this is weird. My number one is the announcement of Ryan Johnson taking over the new Star Wars trilogy.
That is big.
For
That is
me-
big because it's, go ahead.
Well, first of all, for me, that is, as a Star Wars fan, after seeing The Last Jedi, say what you want about The Last Jedi. I don't give a crap. We loved it. You can listen to our last episode, whatever.
Right.
For me, what that says is Ryan Johnson's vision for what Star Wars can be, going away from what we're used to and away from what the fanboys want/expect. Let's have something fresh and new and still Star Wars, but a whole new trilogy that's not entrenched in what we expect from what comes before. Like
Right.
after The Last Jedi, I am 100% confident that Ryan Johnson is going to give us something that
We've never seen.
we've never seen, but that we need as Star Wars fans. Like, this is what's possible in this universe, and we can go anywhere from here. And
Yeah.
that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, Last Jedi is probably in our top 10, so we'll get to it a little bit later.
Yeah.
And if you want a more in-depth thing, go and look back at our last week's episode, which was our spoiler-filled reaction show. But I will just say that
Skeen, thanks, man.
love skiing. What I will say though is that my favorite thing about The Last Jedi was that it messed with your expectations.
Yeah.
Because
You thought it was going to go one way and it went the other way.
exactly,
Which I love.
and that's what I love.
Yeah. So that was my number one, and I threw that in there because out of all the tragedy and all the stuff we've talked about, the light that I feel like is going to come is we're going to still get Star Wars. We're going to still be able to talk about Star Wars, and we're going to get something that that we don't expect. And I feel like that's what we really want as Star Wars fans, but a lot of Star Wars fans are like, well, I expected Luke to do this, so I hate this movie. Well, that's stupid.
Exactly. What I will say is the way that Luke is portrayed in Last Jedi is how I feel about 2017. Total mirror image,
So straight up throw a lightsaber over the shoulder.
pretty much.
I'm done.
It's like F it. All right. Oh, a Sabine and Ezra trilogy. I would so be down for that.
Yeah, but again, we're not going to get that.
No,
it's going to be
we're
totally
so
different.
not. We're
But
so not
I
gonna
would
get
like to see
But
that.
I am excited to see what Filoni's going to come up with next.
Yeah, the next animated series I think should be
Should
interesting.
be phenomenal. I mean,
Yeah,
Filoni's a master.
Yeah.
All right, before we get into our next top 10, let's go over what we're drinking tonight.
Oh,
What are you drinking?
Yeah, we didn't do that. I need another one. I just texted the wife. I'm drinking. I actually bought a variety pack from Stone Brewing Company. We've been talking. Out
first,
of
what'd you have with dinner?
what did I have? Oh, I had a Racer 5, and that is
Nice.
from Bear Republic out of Healdsburg, a little south of us. This is Stone Brewing Company. I'm drinking their variety pack. This is a
Stone's out of San Diego, right?
Yeah, Ruination Double IPA. It's a good one. I'm hoping the wife brings me another one. If not, I'm gonna run away real quick and grab one before we
Right.
get to the next section.
I had a Blue Star with dinner.
Yeah.
And tonight I'm drinking Shorts Brew Space Rock American Pale Ale.
And I'm 90% certain Skeen sent us that one.
Well, it is from Elk Rapids, Michigan, so I would guess so.
Yeah.
And it comes from the Shorts Brewing Company.
Yeah.
So
I thought we were done with all Skeen beers, but
no,
we found
awesome.
one.
Thank you, Skeen. You definitely set us up. We love you.
Yeah.
The way that this next top 10 is going to work is we're going to do our 10 through 6, and then.
Thanks,
Thank
dear.
you.
What remote? Which one?
One
Oh,
second.
the black one?
Do you want to go
Maybe it
take
needs
care
new
of it real
batteries. I'll be right there. Uh,
quick?
huh?
We're in.
Weird. I'll be right back. You set up the next section.
Absolutely. Yeah. So actually, I'll answer Matt's question here. Is that Marshall's drinking a Stone Brewing Company, which is out of San Diego. And we love going to San Diego for Comic Con every year because they have so many breweries and they have wonderful stuff. We actually hold our Pucked Cantina every year, which is the Passionately Usual Corellian Trap Cantina. I can't believe I got that out on my first try. And we have that at the Mission Brewing Company every year, just over the train tracks from the convention center. But basically, what we're going to do with the top 10 is we're going to go 10 through 6, and then we're going to do some honorable mentions, and then we're going to do 5 through 1. So Matt is drinking Winter Double White Ale from Amagang. That sounds good. I love winter ales. I like the crispness and the freshness in it. So that's fantastic. Marshall's trying to fix a remote right now. He'll be back in just a minute. Actually, I'm not a huge fan of Sam Adams Brewing Company, but I do like their holiday celebration ale that they come out with every year. So I do like that. But it's so funny. Marshall and I are such opposites when it comes to beer because Marshall loves anything hoppy and IPA, and I do not like hop. I'm not a hoppiness sort of person. Skeen is drinking the Woodford Reserve Bourbon. Wow, you're going all out tonight. I'm actually not a huge bourbon fan. I'm much more of a Captain Coke person. Anybody who knows me, yeah, Marshall is doing tech support. So I'm definitely much more of getting a captain in me. So I am. I'm really looking forward to Comic-Con this year so we can try some more beers and have our next cantina, which we'll have new gear out for that. But don't forget to go and check out teespring.com/theusualpodcast and check out our new gear. It has a couple of our slogans on it. You can get a sticker. Like I said, I'm going to be adding in some iPhone cases and hopefully some other stuff. Yeah, Matt. Marshall kills the torpedoes. He loves those things. That used to be his beer of choice. So, and it looks like we got the remote working. So, Car's coming back in.
Oh, I thought of a segue.
Ooh, wait a second.
Well, not a segue, but
Either Monica or Donna is drinking a Bud Light, but it has a fancy label.
oh, well, the fancier the better. Hey, so I was overhearing you talking about stuff, Comic-Con and such, and part of what just happened, sometimes when I have to leave, Torpedo is Sierra Nevada, yeah, which I personally like. That's their IPA, which I like. As a weird little segue thing that I thought we should mention too, is if you would like to support the show, some of the stuff I cut out of the show, which will be part of probably what Will was saying, comes up in our blooper reels with every episode. And, on patreon.com/usualpodcast, if you give us $1 or $2 an episode, you will get blooper reels and also the show a little early. So just as a quick little way to support the show kind of thing. So
Absolutely.
here we are, dude. Are we ready for the second half of this madness?
Yeah, and like I said, this is any sort of content. And I'm going to let you start off this time. So why don't you give me your number 10?
Oh, I'm not even... I'm woefully unprepared. My number 10, my friend, I'm going to go with Stranger Things, too. Okay?
I knew that was going to be in your top 10.
And I liked it better than the first season.
I still have not watched season 2. I did like season 1.
Yeah.
I did not like it as much as you did.
Yeah.
I did enjoy it. I did like the nostalgia factor, but the whole time I'm watching Stranger Things, I'm like, I can't wait for Ready Player One.
Yeah, and Ready Player One is going to be great. But, I don't know, Stranger Things 2, the characters, we got more from the characters, the world. I don't know. I really, I don't know. I liked it better than the first season. I think if they nail it on the third season, I think they should probably stop. Maybe
Right.
I think they're gonna do 4 seasons. I think,
Well,
but the kids, the thing that makes that show, honestly, is the dang kids.
Yeah, you can't let them age out.
No, the kids are perfect. But the supporting cast, Winona Ryder, and just the writing, and of course the nostalgia factor. And I don't want to spoil anything, but this season was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And so that's why I made we binge watched that. We watched that I think in 2 days. We watched maybe 3 days, but we got through it pretty quick. So.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about putting Stranger Things into my honorable mentions, but I didn't watch season 2. Season 1 was technically last year, so I'm not that wouldn't be on there.
I hope Ready Player One is good too, man.
I'm excited for it though. I love the book. If you've read the book, re-listen to the book on Audible.
Oh yeah,
You can go to audibletrial.com/usualpodcast and get it for free. But it's Will Wheaton reading it.
yeah, he does a really good job.
It's phenomenal. All right, my number 10 is It's a multimedia content, and you're gonna laugh at me, and I'm
I
okay
probably will.
to take it from everybody here.
Okay.
I have gotten into Snapchat shows.
Oh, here we go.
No, okay.
I'm reserving judgment. Continue.
Go ahead and reserve, and I'll take whatever crap you guys want to give me in the chat room. I will be honest. I started getting onto Snapchat because there are certain celebrities that I like to follow, and they put some racier stuff on there. Hello, Maitland Ward, who I have met at Comic Con. But the big thing that I love is that I love sports, right? And I just don't have to. I mean, I don't have cable. I can't really sit and watch highlights 24 hours a day on ESPN. But they do a Sports Center show twice a day that's about 3 minutes long.
Yeah.
And it gives you the highlights and everything. And they're actually done not by sportscasters, but by comedians.
Interesting.
And one sportscaster. But it's really, really funny. And then CNN does a show called Stay Tuned, and it's hosted by Gotti Schwartz and Savannah Sellers.
Okay.
And they're both phenomenal. And they give you they do 2 to 3 episodes a day, and they give you all the news that you need. And
Interesting.
it's really, really good. But one that really tugs at my heartstrings is a show by a website called The Dodo.
Okay.
And they talk about rescue animals, and it's all about animals.
Okay.
And they just have some most heartbreaking and wonderful stories. And in there, they all put a whole bunch of stuff on how you can rescue animals. So it's a great show. Those are my 3 shows.
I didn't really think about the fact that corporations would get in on the Snapchat thing.
You know, actually, I applied for a job about a year and a half ago to work for the Smithsonian to do their Snapchat movie.
No shit. Okay.
I never got an interview for it, but I think that would have been a very cool job.
Yeah, for sure.
I haven't seen the Smithsonian channel come out yet, so it means they obviously didn't hire anybody good.
Yeah.
But when that does, I would love to watch the Smithsonian channel.
Oh, for sure.
So.
Yeah, man. It's fun. ESPN. Yeah, ESPN, man. I got rid of my cable too. And I do miss the sports part of it. But at the same time, I don't really have time to watch sports. That said, I might check out Snapchat for other things besides just porn, as Actu says.
Exactly. Well, what I love is because like
that was a joke, buddy. Because
yes.
I said okay.
Well,
continue.
Entertainment. The E Channel has a show. Entertainment Weekly has a show.
Yeah.
National Geographic has a show, and I love all these things because they're all like no more than 2 or 3 minutes long.
Yeah, totally.
And so it really doesn't take a bunch out of your day to really still keep in the know on a whole bunch of stuff.
But so are we going on?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So my number 9.
Yep.
And my list is TV show kind of heavy.
Okay.
Not fully, but mostly because I didn't get to the movies as much as I would have liked. But there's a few shows I want to acknowledge. This next one, I want higher on the list, but because it's so few episodes, and I love it so much, I feel like if I put it higher, then people are like, oh. But it's Black Mirror. Okay.
Black Mirror is phenomenal.
Black Mirror is absolutely brilliant. I love tech-based dystopians.
Yes, you do.
And especially if it's an anthology series like this, every episode is different. One of my favorites from this year was the first one of this latest season where everybody rates everyone else.
There was an Orville episode very similar to that.
Exactly. And I was going to mention that. Orville kind of played off of it. There's also in China, they're talking about instituting a system sort of like this in the next few years, which would keep your eye on that.
Yeah.
But really what it comes down to is I love this season. Obviously, the most notable episode from this season won the awards and stuff for, what is it, San Junipero. No, that was last season. That was season 2. No, it was season 3.
Right.
You're right. But the first episode of this season is the one where everybody rates everybody. I just love it. There's one that I can't even get through all the way, where there's the guy who maybe that was season 2. I don't even know, but with a guy where he's like he goes to play a game and it's like messing with his mind. I don't know.
I think it's season 3 because I've seen seasons 1 and 2 and I haven't seen 3 and I don't know that episode.
Yeah, no. But long and the short of it is, man, I absolutely love Black Mirror.
Season 4 comes out shortly.
Yeah,
right?
and I can watch them. There's a couple of them I watch multiple times. Thanks, Silvera. Appreciate it. Are you taking off?
That's Monica. And
oh, yeah.
So thank you very
she
much.
Said got to run.
Yeah, awesome. Make sure you text me. Let me know what's going on with Mom. All right. So my number 8 is a movie which I still don't think you've seen yet.
Probably not.
And it's Get Out.
Yeah, I know. I need to watch that.
Oh my God. Okay, first of all, I love Jordan Peele anyways. Key and Peele
I do too.
are just phenomenal. But Jordan Peele knocked it out of the park with this movie.
Yeah.
It is a horror movie that just F's with your mind. So wonderful. I that's all I can say about it is I'm bitter that he didn't get nominated for a Golden Globe for Best Director.
Well, he was also up for like Best Comedy, right?
It's up for It's not a
I
comedy.
know. I've the controversy we've talked about.
Yeah, I mean it's like The Martian being up for best comedy.
Yeah, right.
Sort of thing. So
Because there's a couple quips in it or something.
exactly. Because he said I'm going to science the shit out of this. All right, so definitely watch Get Out.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. Peele. Right now I think it's the second highest rated movie ever on Rotten Tomatoes.
Really?
Yeah, the only movie. Actually, I think it's tied with Toy Story 3.
Oh wow.
The only movie that's higher than it is a movie that's in theaters right now called Lady Bird, which
Okay.
has a 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I've heard about that. That's kind of crazy.
And again, Greta Gerwig didn't get nominated for director for that, which is odd.
Wow.
All right, so that's my number 8. What's your number 8?
Cool, man. My number, I think I'm at number 7, right?
Oh yeah, you're 7.
I'm at 7. Oh no, 8. Oh shoot, we were only at 8. You're right. We're at 8. My number 8 is music based, and I'm gonna go with Imagine Dragons, man.
I so thought you were gonna put Chainsmokers.
Chainsmokers is that was more last year for me.
Okay. So last year.
I know I do listen to them, but between my workout mix and my wife loving them and
Imagine Dragons are great.
the dance parties with my kids, like just Imagine Dragons, like there's a song, there's just several songs that I absolutely love, but from this latest album that came out this year, I just think it's phenomenal, and it works in the gym, it works at home, and I don't know, I was gonna play part of it because I have my
Go for
Spotify
it.
up. If it plays. Oh, yeah, here we go.
I'ma say all the words inside my head. I'm fired up and tired of the way that things have been. Oh, ooh, the way that things have been. Oh, ooh. Second, don't you tell me what you think that I can be.
Anyway, I don't want. I'm not gonna get sued either. But yeah, man, I really enjoyed Imagine Dragons this year. It really kind of got me through. It was a tough year in a lot of ways, and,
Yeah.
and music I know for me has always been a way to get through stuff. So that helped. So
Cool. I realized I actually am the one that screwed up the countdown because I skipped my number 9.
what?
So my number 9 is a short film
Wait, how are we going back to number 9?
because I accidentally skipped it and went to Get Out. That's why.
you
yeah.
blew it, bro.
So my number 9 is a short film that was done for Red Nose Day, and it was the sequel to Love Actually called Red Nose Day Actually. And I love that they got everybody back except for Alan Rickman and Emma Thompson.
Wow.
Obviously, we couldn't have Alan Rickman because we lost him last year, and
Right.
then Emma Thompson didn't because her character was so entwined with that character. She didn't feel it was right for that to come back. But they even got Andrew Lincoln back from Walking Dead. They got
Oh, that's cool.
Liam Neeson. They got Keira Knightley, Chiwetel Ejiofor. They got Thomas Sangster, who is now on Game of Thrones. Well, no longer on Game of Thrones.
Oh well, that happens.
But it was really good. It's a 10-minute short film. They even got Colin Firth and the Portuguese lady that play. It was everybody,
Cool.
and it was phenomenal. And I really like it. So definitely check that out.
All right, so we're at now. Are we officially at 7?
Now we're officially at 7.
And am I going first?
Yes.
Okay. So number 7 for me, and I don't want to do the whole Marvel movies in general, but I'm kind of gonna do it. Like, don't be mad at me.
No, actually, I did that later. So go ahead.
Okay, so Marvel to me hit it out of the park with 2 movies. One I didn't get to see in the theaters, and I really appreciated was Spider-Man: Homecoming.
So good.
That movie was so well done. That
Michael
scene.
Keaton.
That scene in the
Great.
car with Keaton when he realizes that it's him. Oh
He
my
has
god,
The gun up. Oh my god.
that was probably one of the best moments in a movie that I've had this year.
Because it totally played the one thing that Marvel did great about it is they actually got a teenager to play Peter Parker. And when you're getting dropped off by your date's dad, I mean, I don't want to. Well, no, I can. It's been out for like 6
past the point
months.
now.
When you're getting dropped off by your date's dad and he pulls a gun on you in the car,
Yeah, it's
like,
insane.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that and Thor. Thor for me was just probably one of the most fun times I've had in
It
the
was a
theater in the last
beautifully
few
shot
years.
film.
Not only it was well shot, beautiful,
But it was so fun.
comedy wise,
Hulk like raging fire. Thor
But-
like water.
And for me, I like the more subtle kind of humor, like the director's name I'll never be able to say it.
Taiki something.
Yeah, but the director voiced that rock monster,
Yes, Korg.
and holy crap, some of the funniest moments in that movie were the conversations between him and Thor.
Yep.
I had me rolling, man. I love that film. I think one of the best intros of a powered being happened in that movie, where Homegirl gets out of the ship and she's drunk,
Oh yeah.
and she walks down the plank
She
and falls
down the
off.
gangplank.
That was probably one of the funniest intros.
It's Valkyrie, come on.
I mean, it's Valkyrie, but
And she's hammered.
she's hammering and she falls off and she's like, "No, I'm okay." And she gets up and I just loved it. That movie was so much fun, man. Yeah. So that was my 7.
that was great.
There you go.
My number 7 is actually part of SWTOR.
Okay.
And I chose video DLC content, and I chose the Crisis on Umbara.
Yeah.
I fell behind on Kotfi and Kotet and all those, and I finally caught up to it because Crisis was coming out. And I'm like, dude, you're fighting on a train. This is going to be awesome.
That was a good
And
story.
it was a good flashpoint.
Yeah.
And it was a good story with the trader and everything. And I dug how the train crashes and you're fighting outside the train, and I just thought it was a beautifully done flashpoint. I really enjoyed it.
My SWTOR is a little higher on my list, and I'll talk about it more later about the things that I'm really into. But Umbara was unique, and Umbara was kind of the beginning of this being able to solo flashpoints and be able to deliver story content through that. I think is really important, and I really liked Umbara for that. It was a fun flashpoint, but also you get this really cool story with it.
Yes.
And I like that the delivery system now for SWTOR is going to be for story is going to be flashpoints,
Right.
Repeatable flashpoints that you can deal with. I like that a lot, so I'm with you, man. That was
Yeah, well,
good.
the great thing about it being repeatable flashpoints is that it's a lot easier to say, okay, I'm going to play this light side, I'm going to play a dark side,
Yeah.
I'm going to play it Sith or pub, and it's really cool.
Exactly. All right, man.
What's your number 6?
Okay, so my number 6. I went books.
Heavy sigh.
I went books.
Brandon Sanderson.
Brandon
maybe?
Sanderson. I binged probably every audio book from Brandon Sanderson
Okay, you guys
this
have
year.
to remember, this is a guy who, when he listens to audiobooks, it's like at 2x speed.
Well, yeah, I got to get through it. But
Because they're 40 flipping hours long.
Sanderson books are epic fantasy.
Hey, Red's
I
here.
also, hey Red, I listened to his podcast with Mary Robinette Kowal.
That's the writer's podcast,
and
right?
yeah, and Matt was it Matt Howard and a couple other people. It's a really amazing podcast. But that said, I love his writing. It's the type of writing that I do. I love epic fantasy. But I binged all his early stuff. I listened to Elantris. I listened to all of it, and I'm actually almost done with the the third book in the Stormlight Archive, Oathbringer. 50 hours long. I'm on the last few hours. I love his stuff, and I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that now that I'm able to read, quote unquote read, this is the kind of content I want to consume, and I like I said, binged just about everything he's written this year. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, my number 6, and I went the same way you kind of did with Marvel, but this one, it's I just picked the brand of DC.
okay,
Because Wonder Woman was phenomenal. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Patty Jenkins did a great job, and actually I liked Justice League much better than I thought I would.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest thing is, especially because I do critique movies. When I go to a movie, if I like I said, I go for the escapism.
yeah, me too.
If I go to a film and I had a good time, I was entertained, totally fine.
Sadly, I missed Justice League in our theaters, so that was
Yeah,
kind of a bummer.
I mean, I will say I've only walked out of one movie in my life, and it was when I was a teenager. I walked out of The Gods Must Be Crazy, which I thought was really, really bad. And then I watched it in hindsight later on, and it was actually much better than I thought it was.
Okay.
I will say the worst movie I've ever seen, my sister and I went and saw The Road to Wellville,
okay,
which was a horrible, horrible, horrible movie.
it's a horrible title.
I will say that I've even seen Thanksgiving, which was about
Ugh.
Sounds
terrible.
A Spectre turkey that was killed during the first Thanksgiving and kills people in modern day.
Eek.
I will tell you that the premise of the filmmakers, they said when they made the film, was that they wanted to make the worst movie they can cheaply and still get it distributed. So that's pretty.
So they win. Yeah, holiday special. I'm ready to see it. Red. I'm with you, man. So dude.
So that was it. I liked DC.
Okay.
I enjoyed. I thought Suicide Squad was great last year, except for Cara Delevingne's performance of the Enchantress was just weird.
The bar scene was weird.
I thought they cut the good parts of the bar scene out from the trailers.
Just the placement. It should be earlier.
Yeah, it should have been earlier in the film.
Let's go fight the big bad. Oh wait, should we stop for a drink?
Exactly. But I really like Justice League. It made me really looking forward to Aquaman, and I'm even looking forward to Flash.
Yeah.
Even though I do have a soft spot in my heart for Grant Gustin, Ezra Miller was funny.
Yeah. Well, don't get me wrong. I did like the bar scene, Red, to be fair. I just thought the placement of it was weird. All right, man. So are we at our midpoint?
Yes, we are at a midpoint.
Okay. So honorable mentions,
Yes.
right? So what we're going to do before we get to our top 5 is talk about things that didn't make our list, just a few things. One for me was Wonder Woman. It should have been on the list. I didn't see Justice League, so I couldn't really put it into context, so I didn't put it on the list. I did absolutely love that film. Love that film. What do you got?
I will say that actually I don't have any pure TV shows on my list, which is odd considering I watch a lot of TV. I do. And my number 5 is tangentially a TV show, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But a couple of TV shows I want to talk about is Stranger Things was great. I fell in love with The Good Place this year.
Yeah.
I just started watching it about 3 weeks ago, and seriously, Kristen Bell and Ted Danson, it's the
They're
best
brilliant.
things they've both done, and it is a really, really great show.
Well, let me add to that. I actually also, that's on my, I would say around my honorable mention list. I didn't put it on for a couple reasons. One, I didn't finish it. And two, the wife's already seen it, and we're kind of rewatching it when we have time. I love that show. It's so good. And Danson, speaking of Ted Danson,
is fantastic.
what's also on my list in a weird way is Cheers.
Oh.
Because I've been watching Cheers like after I get off work on Saturday nights. It's
Right.
super late, eating my pizza, and I'm just like, I've been watching like 80s documentaries and stuff.
Right.
And they talk about TV. Excuse me. And so I've been watching Cheers, and I love Danson's so good, and
Danson's great.
that show is brilliant. So anyway, so that's another thing.
Yeah, and actually there was this TV show that was my number 8, but I cut it out and put Get Out in there. Was The Daily Show with Trevor Noah.
Yeah, same here.
I loved Jon Stewart, but Trevor Noah has just won me over. He's phenomenal.
I agree. And the wife and I were talking earlier. I said, am I forgetting something that we watch? Like, I don't want to forget something on my list or just put on honorable mentions. And she's like, well, we watch The Daily Show. And it's like, yeah, we do. We love The Daily Show.
Yeah.
And I think...
and politics aside, it's fun to watch.
It's fun to watch, but also if you're politically minded, it's kind of a nice release, a humorous way to look at what's the crazy that's going on in the world.
Yeah.
You know.
And actually, I'll give Matt a little thing here. You can go ahead and get mad at me all you want. I've never seen an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I can't watch it. I hate that guy. I know he's a brilliant writer. I know he worked on Seinfeld.
Well, he's the basis for George Costanza.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I know all the things. I can't stand that show.
Okay, well-
Dewey watches it all the time. He talks about it on the golf course. I can't stand
No,
it.
well, the thing is you don't like. I mean, this is the reason why you never watched At Midnight.
Exactly.
Is you do not like where people feel like they're on the spot.
Right.
And Curb Your Enthusiasm is an improv show. It's all improv. So
Brutal. I cannot do it. It's just like it's actively stressful watching that show.
yeah, and actually Matt mentions Trevor Noah's book. He actually has a few out, but his big one that's out right now is on Audible. You can get it. It's called Born a Crime.
Yeah, I'm like halfway through it.
And it's
Yeah.
really good.
I had to put it aside for Sanderson.
Yeah.
All right. So any other honorable mentions? Mine. Doctor Who. Doctor Who should be on my list. It's not, and it's just barely not. And the main reason being is we finished it. The Christmas special's coming out, and it was really kind of a special moment, as I've talked about on the show, being at Comic-Con too. Watching the cast up there in Hall H, it was brilliant. The only reason it's not is just because it felt like really early on in the year, and it's kind of, and it's not coming back anytime soon.
Right.
So,
Yeah. And actually, I'll say I'm way behind on Doctor Who. I'm still in the first season of Capaldi, so
yeah.
I'm a couple seasons behind.
See, The Office I can handle for the most part, Red. I loved Parks and Rec, but again, there's moments in both those shows where I'm like, oh, it hurts my body to like watch.
Right.
But once you get past Steve Carell's portrayal in The Office, The Office is a brilliant show. I love that show.
All right, let's go into our top 5.
All right, man. Top 5.
Your number 5 is.
My top 5 is gonna surprise you, I think.
All right.
Rick and Morty.
Oh, how did I know? Okay, that's an honorable mention for me.
Rick and Morty. I never watched it until
Pickle
this year.
Rick!
I never watched it until this year. I have like 5 Rick and Morty T-shirts now.
Oh,
I
God,
absolutely
Rick
love
and
that
Morty is
show.
Brilliant.
It's absolutely brilliant. I binged it for like, I was working a lot at Piace at night, and when I get home, I'd watch like 3 episodes of it. And I love that show. So that is definitely my number 5, right in the middle. Rick and Morty, brilliant.
Yeah, fantastic. And actually, I will agree with Matt. Glow was phenomenal.
I haven't watched it. That's the wrestling one,
yeah,
right?
that was another thing. That I will put that into my honorable mentions. I haven't seen Bright yet. I do want to see it.
Yeah.
All right, my number 5 is for those who listen to this podcast are sick of me mentioning this. Can you guess what it is?
Lore.
The Lore.
That's my honorable mention, TV and podcast
Yeah,
wise.
the Lore podcast is phenomenal.
I listen to all of them.
It's been
I'm
going
up
on
to
for
date.
3 years. The TV show really hit Amazon big this year.
It's brilliant. I love the podcast.
yeah.
It's very good.
So that's my number 5. I almost had it higher, but I couldn't really get rid of the other 4 things above it. I put it as high as I could on the list.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I really, Lore's great. I haven't seen all the episodes of the show yet.
Yeah, I've seen the show. I've seen all the podcasts. My next thing is I need to go see a live show.
Right, that'd be good.
Yes. All right,
Um,
and number 4.
I really, I wanted this to be higher, but this is as high as I could get it. Dirk Gently. Dirk Gently.
You know, I honestly I can't even put that in my honorable mentions because I haven't watched it.
You haven't watched it. Dirk Gently season 2 is it's absolute insanity. And again, going back to what I was talking about in Hall H, I watched the Dirk Gently panel,
Right.
moderated by Kevin Smith, right before
Yes.
the Doctor Who panel. The showrunner, creator of that show,
Right.
I think is a crazy person. But if you watch that show, it's so brilliant and so well acted, believable but insane. It's just so much fun. And it's one of those BBC America shows. You just have to get into it. It's based off the Douglas Adams books or whatever.
Yeah,
But
and the full name is Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency.
exactly. But it's got homeboy
Elijah Wood. Yes.
Some of the actors are amazing. The assassin. I mean, it's just a really cool piece of TV. So definitely check it out. I absolutely love that show.
Yeah, it just wrapped up its 2nd season. The spinoff of,
We just finished it, by the way.
Yeah,
That's why it's not higher.
Yeah, to answer Penn's question, the spinoff of Doctor Who was Class.
Class, yeah.
And
it
that
got
unfortunately
canceled.
has already been canceled after the 1st season.
It was okay. We watched it. It was okay.
All right, my number 4 is Star Wars: The Last Jedi. And I will say
That's your number 4.
It's my number 4. I
Okay.
couldn't. The other 3 above it. I had to put the other 3 above it.
Okay.
I thought it was really really well done. I'm butthurt that Mark Hamill did not get a Golden Globe nomination.
Yeah.
I really think that actually the Oscars might honor him.
Okay.
He's not going to win. Honestly, I think Christopher Plummer is probably going to pull it out this year. But Mark Hamill deserves a nomination. I thought he was brilliant.
Yeah, it was good.
He was comedic as well. I mean, the whole weird nipple scene might pull it away from him. But, I mean, everyone has to remember that Alec Guinness got nominated for Best Supporting Actor for A New Hope. But
Well, obviously, this is higher on my list, and I'll talk more about it
yeah,
in
and
a
I
bit.
mean, if you want to get more of what I thought about it, check out our episode from last week.
No, listen to our last episode. And we both obviously really enjoyed the film. There was a couple reasons why I put it higher that we can talk about when we get to
Right.
it.
You're number 3.
Going back to what Red said real
Okay.
quick about the Marvel Netflix stuff, and I am up to date on all that, and I do love all of that. The Defenders gets an honorable mention for me for sure. It wasn't like the greatest thing I've ever seen, but again, I fell woefully behind on a lot of the TV Berlanti for sure. I haven't watched any Berlanti this season.
Yeah, I watched the first episode of all 4, and I just haven't caught.
Yeah, we watched the first, I think, 2 or 3 episodes of Flash, and that was it.
Yeah.
So
it's something I want to catch up on during break.
well, obviously that's not Marvel, but Defenders was okay. But again, it's just not gonna make the list. So okay, so let's what do we got?
You're number 3.
My number 3, SWTOR. And the reason SWTOR is this high up is mostly because of my awesome community. People like Redna and Matt in the chat. Things like Pucked this year and Extra Life.
Extra Life was phenomenal.
People like Mox and JT and just the Annalise and Jesse and the community that we've kind of created around this game. And going back to what you were saying, it's lower on your list, but obviously the quality of life changes, the Flashpoint, story progression. The game is great, but I think the community is even better.
Especially since we've been around 6 years now.
And we're at 6 years, and I absolutely love the friends that I've made around this game. And so if I can continue to do a thing like Pucked and go to San Diego every year, and they keep giving us the content that we love, doing What's an Ops group every Friday night, that's why this is so high on my list. It's a game I've been playing for 6 years, and I plan to play until they pull it. And it mostly has to do with the people that I play with. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Same here, Red. We love you, man.
I will say, Matt, I hadn't heard that Mako is coming back. So if she's coming back, then
we talked about it. They were talking about how to do it, but
yeah,
it's just not
then
yet.
It'll be nice to finally get you back in the game.
Yeah, we'll see.
But I will say that for those of you who do play the game, I am now getting my internet upgrade.
Yeah.
Because we live in such a rural area, though, it won't happen until the middle of January, because that's the first opening Comcast.
But it's going to happen, bro.
But it is going to happen. So you will be seeing me on What's an Op Group night again.
Nice. All right, man. Your number 3?
My number 3 is the Marvel brand. And everything you said about Thor Ragnarok and Spider-Man Homecoming is phenomenal. I can't believe you didn't mention Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Oh, I knew I was forgetting something. Yeah, that movie was awesome. Yeah.
They were all great.
I was trying to limit it to...
honestly, as much as I liked The Last Jedi, I did. But, that was one movie from the Star Wars universe. Marvel knocked out 3 blockbuster, great films that all had different tones.
I feel like we didn't talk about Guardians enough when it came out.
And honestly, my favorite part of the trailer for Infinity War is the end.
Oh, that's by far my favorite.
I will agree with Red that I still don't think 2 is as good as 1.
No, absolutely not.
I thought the Ego of the Living Planet was a little over the top for me, even though I did like Kurt Russell's performance.
There's something about the first Guardians. I teach it in my classroom. There's something about that film that works on a lot of levels for a lot of people. Guardians 2 was they fleshed out the characters a little bit more, but again, it didn't have the same. Like there are moments in Guardians where I cry. You know what I mean? In the first one.
Yeah.
I didn't have that in 2. But again, it kept the fun going, and I can't wait to see what they do going forward for sure.
Exactly.
So.
But that was my thing is the Marvel brand.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't just pick one movie, and I would have put all 3 in the top 10.
Can't believe I forgot about freaking.
I know. I could when you mentioned your Marvel stuff earlier. I can't believe you.
I think when I made the list, I was like, well, I want to narrow it down to a couple films. Also on my honorable mentions list was Logan.
Oh, Logan was phenomenal,
and it should be on my list somewhere. But it was.
And if you do get a chance to watch the Logan Noir version, watch it. It is a good western.
All right.
You're number 2.
You want to know my number 2?
Last Jedi?
No. My number 2 is a podcast.
Sans Pants?
Yes. My number 2 is Sans Pants Radio. And I'm gonna for lack of a better word, polish the knob of Sans Pants real quick. There's a couple reasons why. One, I contribute to their stuff. I actually give them money because I love the content they put out. I consume so much of their content that I've never re-listened outside of Tell 'em Steve Dave. That's an honorable mention for sure. I don't re-listen to podcasts as often as I do with Sanspans stuff.
Right.
I listen to just about everything they put out. But now that I'm a Sanspans Plus member, whatever, I get all their D&D stuff and everything else. And because I'm a dungeon master with our group, there's a lot of reasons why I love Sanspans, but I just love their humor. It's just for me. If I just want to sit back and listen to something and it's basically friends sitting around BSing like we do,
Exactly.
and like I do with my buddy Josh and that kind of thing. And I just love their stuff. And so I've consumed, outside of Brandon Sanderson stuff, I've consumed the second on my list of consumption is Sanspans. So,
Right.
So I can't not.
Which is funny because like the average Sanspans episode is like half an hour,
Yeah.
whereas like the average Sanderson book is 40 plus.
Yeah. So here we are with my hours of consumption.
Awesome. I will agree with Matt that John Wick 2 almost made my top 10. So I will put it in honorable mention, but the whole John Wick stuff is fantastic. I really enjoyed it. If you haven't heard of Sanspans, they're a channel out of Australia. I turned Marshall onto it, about 2.5 years ago?
Yeah, they're a podcast.
The first one they did was Plumbing the Death Star.
They have a bunch of different shows. Plumbing the Death Star. Shut Up a Second, I think, is one of my favorites. One of the guys does a show with his family called It's Just Good Business. They do a bunch of different shows. It's called Sanspants Radio. It's just a lot of fun. It's a bunch of Australians talking shit, having a good time.
And honestly, I don't know why I didn't put this together. Sanspants means without pants.
Yeah.
How did I not put
Yeah,
together
I
with your
don't-
friend Jeff Herman?
Yeah. I don't know what you're doing. But honestly, those guys.
Jeff Herman never wore pants.
No, I know. I see
hate
where
you.
I know. But their stuff is really good, man. And I it's the only podcast, well, besides all my friends that do podcasts, the only other podcast network they do really well, of course, on, money wise, because they do live shows and stuff like that.
Right.
They also do a movie maintenance. There's a spinoff, not a spinoff, but a group of guys called Movie Maintenance through their network. And they tear apart movies and rewrite them. There's a little of everything on their network, so definitely check them out. It's a lot of fun.
Since you were talking about podcast networks, I will just give a quick shout out to honorable mention to the Parcast Network, because I do listen to a lot of true crime.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they do serial killers, they do cults, they do haunted places, unsolved murders, true crime stories, and lots of cool true crime stuff.
Nice. Yeah, I say we do Pucked 2018 without pants.
Oh, absolutely.
In like Flynn in a bin.
Absolutely. All right, my number 2. I fell in love with stand-up specials this year. And the two that I rewatch over and over again because they are so brilliant are actually from two Daily Show correspondents.
Okay.
The first one is Hassan Minaj's Homecoming King.
Yeah, I like that one.
Brilliant. Not only is it just funny as all get up, the flow that he wrote it with from beginning to end tells a complete story. Incredibly well written.
He's just funny. He's really good.
And then the other one, which literally just came out a couple weeks ago, is Michelle Wolf's Nice Lady.
I haven't seen that yet. I love Michelle Wolf.
Michelle Wolf is she's not a regular correspondent. She's kind of like, she comes on about as often as like Lewis Black does.
Tiffany Haddish is okay.
Tiffany Haddish's stand-up was okay. I liked her much better in Girls Trip. I thought Girls Trip was really good.
What's her face? The goblin one. I like her.
Oh, Eliza Schlesinger.
Yeah, I like her a lot too.
She's great, but she just didn't have any actual stand-up specials come out this year.
Yeah.
But her last 3 have been phenomenal.
Yeah, we watched the Haddish ones, the wife and I. They're okay. They're not up there for me, but
Yeah, but I definitely say if you tonight go on Netflix because they're both on there. Watch Hassan Minaj's Homecoming King and watch Michelle Wolf Nice Lady.
Is Michelle Wolf's on there?
Yes.
Okay, we'll have to watch that.
It's also on Plex.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my number 2.
Cool. Yeah. Well, my number 1, obviously,
Last Jedi.
since I haven't talked about it yet, was Last Jedi. And granted, it's I've only seen it the one time, but for me, there's a couple reasons why it's up there for me. The main reason is the direction they're going with Star Wars. I like Rian Johnson. Basically, what I was talking about earlier, my number 1 story from before was the fact that he's going to do a new Star Wars trilogy.
Yep.
I like being able to. Honestly, I just like being able to talk about Star Wars, then go to the movie and be like, "Huh." That went a completely different direction,
Right.
and actually be okay with it, and not be up in arms. I got to write a blog and tell everybody why I'm not a Star Wars fan anymore. Like, I'm not a Star Wars fan.
It's not like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to moviepoopshoot.com.
Look, I'm not a Star Wars fan to make predictions and to say what I want out of a Star Wars movie. I can say it all day, but if I don't get it, I'm not going to throw a fit about it.
Absolutely.
For me, I loved The Last Jedi. I love the direction Rian Johnson went. I can't wait to see what JJ does, considering what Rian Johnson did to counter what he did in The Force Awakens. Exactly. And I think it's going to be a blast, an absolute blast going forward. And for me, the other thing I have to say, and this is another sentimental thing, is every year when it's in December, I get my friends together. We get the pizzas, we get the beers. Yep. It's your birthday. We get to hang out, be geeky, go to the movies together, and then sit down and do a podcast together. And that's one of my favorite parts of the year. So for me, Last Jedi is my number one. So
awesome. I kind of cheated with my number one.
They force some of the comedy. Take your puns away from here, sir. Considering. Continue.
I kind of cheated with number one because it actually isn't due until 2018. But I will say the best filmmaking that I've seen this year is the Black Panther trailer. Okay. That is my number one, is the Black Panther trailer.
Can I just tell you?
Really quick, before you just...
No, go ahead.
The directing is brilliant. The acting looks brilliant. And what I love is, and this really started with Logan and Suicide Squad, when their trailers first came out and they started using actual songs to get, and these trailer creators are picking the perfect songs.
Yeah.
And Black Panther is wow.
Yeah. I one of the, maybe we do this next year, but kind of a looking forward thing, but that's by far the top of my list for 2018.
Yes. Is
Black Panther. And I don't think I've been more excited for a movie outside of Star Wars than after I saw that trailer. I've seen that trailer 25 times probably. Yep. Part of it's the music, it's the direction.
And considering Ready Player One is coming out, and that's still on top of your list.
Yeah. I mean, Ready Player One, great. I teach the novel. Awesome. I can't wait. It's still Steven Spielberg. I want to see Black Panther.
Yes.
And I can't wait. So
yeah, there's not one weak part of that trailer.
No, absolutely not. All right, man. So we did it.
We did. That's our 2017 in review.
Nice.
We definitely want to hear what you guys think. So if you weren't in the live chat with us and were able to talk with us, please tweet us, text us, tell us what you think, and we'll definitely talk about it in the next year.
Yeah, exactly. All right, man. So next year, I think what we do at the end of this is do a looking forward. I think we're both looking forward to Black Panther. There's a lot of unknowns for next year. Obviously, for where they're going Marvel-wise and stuff like that. I mean, not next year, but you know.
No, I'm really looking forward to hearing what.
Thanks, Skeen.
Yes, Skeen definitely hit number one. I'm looking forward to what we were just saying. Skeen threw me off.
What? Looking forward to what? What are you talking about?
What did you just say? Black Panther, and then...
Oh, it's saying next year, we'll when we do this show, we'll go do a looking forward. Oh, because I was talking about the Fox merger and all that other stuff. Is that up in Flex and Marvel? Not knowing what's happening with Marvel.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to hear what Feige announces for Phase 4.
Yeah, and I think that's... there's going to be a lot of announcements, I think, at the beginning of next year that we're going to get excited about. So, all right, man.
Red, we all look forward to that.
I'm gonna do that later. All right, so are we done, buddy?
We're done. Let's do the outro.
All right, so thanks for tuning in to The Usual Podcast. If you have comments or questions, you can find us at theusualpodcast.com. Email us at theusualpodcast@gmail.com. And we're on Facebook, Google+, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. Find us on Twitter. I am at Darth Pops, and Will is at Imo Griggs. We're on all your favorite podcatchers, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and all that. So like us, tell your friends. Tell us if you like the show. Follow us on Twitch. Do all the things. It's fine. If you want to support the show, you can buy merch at teespring.com/usual podcast. We also have audibletrial.com/usual podcast. You can get a free audiobook on us. There's more than you even know to choose from. If you want to get your money's worth, grab something from Brandon Sanderson or Game of Thrones, something like that. It's 50 hours of fun. Let's go with that. And also, of course, you can literally give us money. Patreon.com/usual podcast. If you give us $1 or $2 an episode, we will do. We have trailer time. We have early access to the shows and any other goodies, and blooper reels and that kind of thing. So lots of things to do if you give us money. And if you don't give us money, that's okay.
We still like you.
Yeah, you're all right. Let's not get carried away. Anyway, my friend, let's get out of here. Last show, 2017.
Absolutely, and heading out of 2017, heading into 2018, I want to make sure y'all have a fun.
Oh, by the gods, have a fun, and we'll see you all in 2018.
Peace.
Thanks, guys, for being in the room, chat room. Josh just texted me we were lame, so he obviously tuned in. I'm gonna just text him F you. Perfect.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This was a really good show.
Yeah, thanks, Game, for being there, Matt. It's always good to have you around, man. Red, what's up, buddy? Wait, I still have your shirt. What shirt do you have? Did I give you a shirt? Was I drunk?
Probably.
No, seriously, what shirt do you have? Oh, my puck shirt? You do have my puck shirt. Huh. Where is my puck shirt? I think Redna has my puck shirt. I'm not sure why. Did I take it off?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, she thought it was yours. I was wondering. I haven't seen it in a long time. All right, dude. So that's good. You legit have it. All right. Well, take care of it. I'll see you in July, right? Are you coming or not? Tell me you're going to come to San Diego, right? Right. Sweet. You'll be there. Good. Good to hear. All right. We're going to get out of here, kids. Yeah. Well, congrats on the baby again, dude. She needs to do that. That's important. Are you really? They're not going to come out from Texas, do you think? It'd be awesome if they did. I can give them shit too. Are they actually talking about doing it or not?
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
You know, Josh is texting me things. I don't want to talk to him right now. I hope he's listening. All right. Oh, I know you guys will be there. I can't wait. It's going to be exciting. We already got our hotel. We're ready to rock. Got our badges. We're excited. So we'll start the planning stages in this freaking December. But I guess we might as well plan. We just were there, 3 months ago. So Brian has visited us a few times. Oh, they better be making plans. They better get their asses out there. All right, kids. I got to turn this off. Until next time, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and all that. Four 4:30 in the morning. All right, Red. Thanks, everybody, for being in the chat. Appreciate it. See you next year.